Anyways, moving forward, the estate thing that I want to demystify. I get so many people that come into the office and thinking, I don't need to do anything, Alan, because I don't have much of an estate. Why do I need to set up all this fancy paperwork? And why do I need to pay for it now? You know, let them fight over it after I'm gone. I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't think you really mean that. I don't think you really do. And then just to give you an idea of why that seems to be such a poor approach, it's because once again, they're not knowledgeable of how easy it is to set up the estate plan, and they're not knowledgeable of how much time and money and headaches that they're going to avoid by setting up the estate plan. And I was giving some statistics before the video and got started, but I was basically saying that in 2013, our California government unfortunately didn't have a balanced budget, and because of that balanced budget, we did what's called the Deficit Reduction Act. And now, to make matters worse, in each of the 58 counties, we only have one. I'm going to scroll here real quick. I know this is going to irritate people. Oops, there it is. But as of 2013, we only have one probate court per county, and there's 58 counties. So here we're in Whittier. I used to go to probate courts in Whittier, in Downey, in Compton, Long Beach, Torrance, and we used to do court hearings. All those ancillary courts don't exist anymore. If I have to go to court in LA, I have to go to downtown Hill Street. And if I go to downtown Hill Street, guess what I'm doing? I'm doing video conferences, or I'm doing teleconferences court, because it's just way too crazy to go down to downtown Hill Street. In Orange County, where I predominantly practice, I go down to the Central Justice Center in Santa Ana. So there's only one court in Santa Ana to deal with all probate cases. And the reason I'm bringing this stuff up is because at the very beginning I was telling you that when people aren't knowledgeable, they don't realize that it's not that, this is not a picture of me, by the way. Before and after. There you go. This is what Pilates does. What it is, it takes an average about 1 to 3 years now to go through probate, which is just ridiculous. And the costs associated with that are just ridiculous as well. It's about 4% of the first 100,000, since you guys are in a commission-based business as well, right? Realtors? Mm-hmm. So it's 4% of the first $100,000 that goes through the court administration, 3% of the next 100,000, 2% of the next 800,000, and then 1% of anything above $1 million and above. So I'm still waiting for that big case so I can retire and just say, hey, I'm done. I still, half of my practice, just so you guys know, is dealing with probate court, where people don't do any estate planning at all. Where we're basically, what we're doing today is prevention of a problem, right? We're planning what to do with your stuff, your estate, before things happen. But the other half of my practice is for people who don't pre-plan. Then we have to fix the problem after the fact. And then they're always going, Alan, how come you're not doing it faster? And I'm like, I can only go as fast as they give me the ticket to go up to the line to the judge, and I have to wait. So unfortunately, it takes 1 to 3 years to go through probate. The expenses I already gave you, and then there could be more expenses and more time if the family fights with each other, because maybe they don't want to sell the proverbial home because 1 or 2 mijos or mijas are living in the home. That means children that have been living off of mom and dad for a long time, and then it's very hard to get those ticks out of the home in order to sell the home and divide the estate. I think a lot of people can relate to that because that happens quite a bit. Anyways. So what I'm here today is to basically, as I was telling Tom and Becky, is to demystify, educate, and empower you folks so that you guys can have a fun learning experience, and you guys can use my analogies and pass it on to your friends and families, and basically demystify these things and give them knowledge, give them power, basically. So another show of hands real quick, since we're in a real estate office, how many of you guys have real estate or have relatives that have real estate? Right. Or we'll have real estate in the future. Let's open up that group. I'm working really hard. I'm going to lift up her arm. Just kidding. So what my point of it is that about 90% of our probate cases is real estate related, but it's not the only asset that predominantly goes through probate. People have bank accounts. If we're fortunate enough, we have investments like money markets or stock accounts, some retirement in the way of an IRA or pension. We have personal property, we're wearing it right now, and then obviously we might have insurance policies. If you notice, we can't take this stuff with us. This is only leased for now. The Egyptians tried it 3,000 years ago or so, but we're still digging up their crap, right? So, secret, you're not going to take it with you either. So, what we do as a society is we create paperwork to basically show ownership. We're not spray painting the side of our house, basically saying this is Becky's house, right? So what we have with homes is title deeds that show ownership, correct? With vehicles, we might have a paint slip. With an account, we open up an account with the bank of our choosing. With investments, the same thing. There's an insurance policy. So what my point of it is, there's paperwork to each of your assets, so there's going to be paperwork to transfer it on to you. So that's why we do the estate planning, because the paperwork is not going to fill out itself. Make sense?